You are listening to Audio SSLC, your audio medium for easy understanding and revision. To download a copy of this recording, please visit audiosslc.com. Unit 5. Before you read. A. Can you identify the person in the picture in your textbook? B. Look at the picture closely. How does it strike you? Can you describe his feelings from the expression on his face? Music is God's gift to man, the only art of heaven given to earth, the only art of earth we take to heaven. By Walter Savage Landor. That is how Walter Savage Landor describes the gift of music to humankind. You may have your own way of looking at music. For instance, one of you may say, music is a source of imagination. Reason for choice. Music is a source of imagination. You can fill the bubbles with your own choice or choices and complete the sentence also. Music gives me, or music tells me, or music makes me, or for me music is. Now try to write a poem on music. Compare the poem you have written with this poem. Music. I hear the music. Music is love. Music is life. Music can tell a story. Music cheers, but also brings memories. What's so special about music? When I listen to music, it takes me to another world. Music is my passion. Music soothes the soul. Music can take away the pain. Our life is music. Music inspires me. Music flows through me. Do you hear it? Come dance with me tonight. Perhaps you'd like to read a real-life incident in which a boy's ambition was fulfilled at last. If so, read on. The Concert by Shanta Rameshwar Rao. 1. One morning, in a small apartment in Bombay, a girl of about 16 looked up from the newspaper and said excitedly, Pandit Ravi Shankar is playing tomorrow at the Shanmugananda Auditorium. Shh, said her mother, pointing to the figure sleeping on the bed. You'll wake him up. You know he needs all the sleep and rest he can get. 2. But the boy on the bed was not asleep. Pandit Ravi Shankar, he said. Pandit Ravi Shankar, the sitar maestro? He raised himself up on his elbows for 1 second, then fell back. But his eyes were shining. We mustn't miss the chance, he said. I've always wanted to hear him and see him. 3. Lie down, son, lie down. His mother sprang to his side. He actually raised himself up without help, she murmured with a catch in her throat, and her eyes turned to the idols on a corner shelf. The prayer which she uttered endlessly came unbidden to her lips. 4. I must hear him and see him, the boy repeated. It's the chance of a lifetime. Then he began to cough and gasp for breath and had to be given oxygen from the cylinder that stood under the bed. But his large eyes were fixed on his sister. Read on. 5. Smita bit her lip in self-reproach. She had been so excited at seeing the announcement that she had not remembered that her brother was very ill. She had seen how the doctors had shaken their heads gravely and spoken words that neither she nor even her parents could understand. But somewhere deep inside, Smita had known the frightening truth that Anant was going to die. The word cancer had hung in the air. Her brother was dying of cancer, even though she pretended that all would be well and they would return together, a small family of 4, to their home in Gaganpur. And he was only 15 and the best table tennis player in the school and the fastest runner. He was learning to play the sitar. They were both taking sitar lessons. But Anant was better than her as in many other things. He was already able to compose his own tunes to the astonishment of their guru. Then cancer had struck and they had come to Bombay so that he could be treated at the cancer hospital in the city. 6. Whenever they came to Bombay, the family stayed with Aunt Sushila. Her apartment was not big, but there was always room for them. They had come with high hopes in the miracles of modern science. They told themselves that Anant would be cured at the hospital and he would again walk and run and even take part in the forthcoming table tennis tournament. And he would play the sitar and perhaps would be a great sitarist one day. But his condition grew worse with each passing day, and the doctors at the cancer hospital said, "Take him home, give him the things he likes, indulge him." And they knew then that the boy had not many days to live, but they did not voice their fears. They laughed and smiled and talked and surrounded Anant with whatever made him happy. They fulfilled his every need and gave whatever he asked for, and now he was asking to go to the concert. The chance of a lifetime, he was saying. "When you're better," his mother said. "This is not the last time they are going to play." 7. Smita stood at the window looking at the traffic, her eyes filled with tears. Her mother whispered, "But you, Smita, you must go. Your father will take you." When she was alone with Aunt Sushila, Smita cried out in a choked voice, "No, how can I? We've always done things together, Anant and I." "A walk in the park might make you feel better," said Aunt Sushila, and Smita was grateful for her suggestion. 8. In the park, people were walking, running, playing ball, doing yogic exercises, feeding the ducks, and eating roasted gram and peanuts. Smita felt alone in their midst. She was lost in her thoughts. 9. Suddenly a daring thought came to her, and as she hurried home, she said to herself, "Why not? There's no harm in trying it. It would be nice to go to the concert. I don't know when we'll get another opportunity to hear Pandit Ravi Shankar," she said to her mother later, and her father agreed to get the tickets.
You are listening to Audio SSLC, your audio medium for easy understanding and revision.
To download a copy of this recording, please visit audiosslc.com. Read on. 10. The next day, as Smita and her father were leaving for the concert, her brother smiled and said, "Enjoy yourself," though the words came out in painful gasps. "Lucky you." 11. Sitting beside her father in the gallery, Smita heard, as in a dream, the thundering welcome the audience gave the great master. Then the first notes came over the air, and Smita felt as if the gates of enchantment and wonder were opening. Spellbound, she listened to the unfolding ragas, the slow, plaintive notes, the fast twinkling ones, but all the while the plan she had decided on the evening before remained firmly in her mind. The chance of a lifetime. She heard Anand's voice in every beat of the tabla. The concert came to an end, and the audience gave the artists a standing ovation. A large mustachioed man made a long, boring speech. Then followed the presentation of bouquets, then more applause, and the curtain came down. The people began to move towards the exits. 12. Now was the time. Smita wriggled her way through the crowds towards the stage. Then she went up the steps that led to the wings, her heart beating loudly. In the wings, a small crowd had gathered to talk about the evening concert, to help carry bouquets and teacups and instruments. 13. He was there, standing with the man who played the tabla for him, the great wizard of music, Ustad Allah Rakha. Her knees felt weak, her tongue dry, but she went up, and standing before them, her hands folded, "Oh, sir," she burst out. "Yes?" he asked questioningly, but kindly. And her story came pouring out, the story of her brother who lay sick at home, and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. "Little girl," said the mustachioed man who had made the long speech, "Pandit ji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests." But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, "What shall we do, Ustad Sahib?" The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. "Tomorrow morning we perform for the boy. Yes?" he said. "Yes," Panditji replied. "It's settled then." 14. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anant was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him?" he whispered. "I did," she replied, "and I spoke to him. And he'll come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad, and they'll play for you." 15. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men getting out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. They could not believe their eyes. "It is? It's not possible," they said. 16. Pandit Ravishankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window, and played for the boy, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness as life went out of him, gently, very gently. This is a true story, but all the names except Pandit Ravishankar's and Ustad Allah Rakha's have been changed. Meanings. Pandit Ravishankar, an Indian musician, composer and a sitar player. Excited, feeling or showing happiness and enthusiasm. Maestro, a great performer, especially a musician. Sprang, moved quickly and suddenly towards a particular place. With a catch in her throat, with a feeling of great sorrow. Unbidden, usually used after the verb, without being asked, invited, or expected. Self-reproach, a blame or criticism against oneself or herself. Gravely, seriously. Pretend, to behave in a particular way in order to make other people believe something that is not true. Astonishment, a feeling of a very great surprise. Miracle, an act or event that does not follow the laws of nature and is believed to be caused by God. Hung in the air, worrying someone. Choked voice, voice filled with sadness. Enchantment, a feeling of great pleasure. Ovation, enthusiastic clapping by the audience who stand up from their seats as a sign of their appreciation. Wriggle, to twist and turn the body or part of it with quick, short movements. Wizard, a person who is especially good at some art or achievement. Bother, trouble or worry. Allah Rakha, an Indian tabla player, a frequent accompanist to Pandit Ravishankar. Block, a tall building that has flats. Speak well. Narration. Task 1. A. Have you ever been left alone at home by your parents, brothers or sisters on any occasion? If so, when was it? B. Why did they leave you at home? C. How did you feel about it? D. Narrate your thoughts and feelings to your partner. You may use the following words and expressions in your narration. Alone, dejected, happy, bored, daydreaming, enjoying, angry, chatting, searching for something, fearing, not studying, watching TV, scared, missing the occasion, cooking, missing the fun, mischief, etc. Know about the author. Shanta Rameshwar Rao. She was born in 1924. She is an Indian writer of myths, legends, folk tales, short stories, and picture books for children. She has retold tales from Indian scriptures and reworked folk tales and myths from little-known tribal communities and far-flung areas of India. In Tales of Ancient India, 1960, she retells original stories like How the Stork Got Its Long Neck and Why Snakes Have Forked Tongues. Children's Mahabharata, 1968, and in Worship of Shiva, 1998, drawn from Hindu myth and scripture, have demons, gods, and humans as characters. She stresses the importance of wise action in our public as well as private life.